It is the Sports Lounge, one of our highly anticipated programs of the year, the post-Super Bowl edition. The Raiders and Marcus Traxler is here in the basement with the puzzle on the wall. Keeping it warm. Charlie Hildebrand, right there.
Hello.
A clean-shaven Hildebrand, somewhat.
Yep. Every time. I'll go like a couple months, and then I'll just be laying in bed one night, and my neck beard scratching my chest, and it's just like, I think I got to get rid of this. And once you start shaving some of it, it's like, well, I might as well get rid of the rest of it too, I guess.
There we go. That's the Clippers philosophy. Get rid of run, get rid of all of them. Marcus Schottenkirk possibly in the wing. Amon, we had to put Amon down past his bedtime and had to put that bastard to sleep. And Nathan Stack, and once he gets the gas chamber to his kid, he's going to join us here. So, Charlie, was this we see? Huh? Yes?
He's got to drink the Patriots beer.
Drink it up, and then he'll save the other one for next time. So there we go.
Whenever they lose their first game next year.
When Villanova.
That beer's going to taste so gross in September.
When Villanova loses in the tournament, he can swig that. I think is what he should do. It seems like it's almost a yearly thing. Charlie, was this the best Super Bowl we've seen?
It was good. I don't think it's the best to me.
What have you liked better?
I don't know. If I'm honest, I don't know if I'd put it in the top three.
Really?
Just in a second right now.
Wow.
But that's not to knock it. I think it was really good. There's times where I like a little bit more defense than that. I don't want it to be like 10-6, but I want more than one punt in the game. I want like 4 punts.
Or some turnovers, maybe? Or a sack? Fuck
yeah. There was one punt and there was one turnover.
And one
sack?
sack?
I think New England had one turnover on downs.
Yeah. Not a lot. So which ones do you like more? You like
off the top of my head, I think I like the Patriots over the Seahawks, the Steelers over the Cardinals. Maybe just those two. Maybe I'd say this one's the third best one ever. It was quite good. It's not my number one though.
I think right now this is my number one. Marcus, what say you? I like this game. This was a good game. Considering I was not. It sucks for me that the Eagles won. But I was not hard for this game, as we like to say.
What was the other one Charlie said in addition to
Arizona,
Cardinals?
Arizona, and then the Seattle one. Seattle.
The Patriots over the Seahawks. The Pete Carroll doesn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked last year's. I mean, we're going to remember 28-3 for a really long time. We may. I don't know if this is one we're going to forget at all, but I would agree there wasn't like a huge seminal moment. Maybe that strip sack.
The fourth. I mean, I would say the fourth downs. The fucking Foles catch, the Brady non-catch. I think there's a lot of things, a lot of plays and moments we remember from this one.
I think I would agree with Charlie on the Cardinals one. I think it would be in Texas is back. It sounds.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Where in the fuck? We went a whole goddamn show last week without it.
If it makes you feel any better, it's not just Texas. It's actually part of a Tide commercial.
Oh, good. How's that? Is that better? Is Tide good? Is this not a Tide show?
It sounds better.
Better?
It doesn't.
Motherfucker.
It's bad.
Now, what say you?
Trying it. It's better. That's good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would say this is one of my 3 or 4 favorite Super Bowls. I mean, I would put it right up there. I would like a little bit more distance from the game to maybe see how I feel about it. But high scoring, it was nice to have a Super Bowl like that for a change. And just see, like you guys mentioned before, a Big 12 game breakout.
Second highest scoring ever. 49ers Chargers is the most. That was a not competitive game. First time both teams have scored over 31, or in this case 33 points. Most yards in an NFL game ever? Because I like some of these because records, not just Super Bowl records, but records were set in this. Most yards ever in an NFL game. which is quite amazing. Brady was threatening the passing record. And
when he finished with like 505 yards.
Yeah.
And he's one of only like 8 or 9 guys to go over 500 in a game.
And he was a little off early, some of his throws, I thought. But he fucking did it. And I mean, it was a case there where at the end, I mean, they got the ball twice in the final 2 minutes when they had the ball once for the first 13 minutes of the quarter, and almost did it. Marcus, the stones by this coach to go for it on the 4th and goal from the 1 and to do the play he did. I like that he went for it about at his own 40, 4th and whatever it was, there with 5 minutes left.
Yep.
Foles got the MVP. He played great, but Doug Peterson, I think he won the game for me. Him and Foles, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought they made a kind of a good remark. I don't know if it was at the end or who. Oh, I think it was Collinsworth made the remark that, obviously Peterson was a backup quarterback. He's got Foles in there. He was sort of living vicariously through Foles, which I thought was an interesting way of putting it. I mean, he was aggressive. He called the plays that maybe he would have called if he was in that position. And I just thought it was a lot of great play call. They did vertical on the Patriots a lot like they did on had the big catches by Jeff in the first half, Aguilar more so in the second half. Like you said, that play call on the goal line, like Charlie tweeted, very reminiscent of the Rose Bowl, and a similar game in that sense that we had all 2 points. But that was a great play call, and I agree. I know there was maybe some discussion amongst us, whether you use that on a 2-point play or use that on a touchdown. You cashed it in for 6. I think that was a good call there.
Charlie, let's see here. Field goals.
It was a pretty interesting game.
Field goals were a problem. Special teams were a problem. New England fucked up a hold on that was a 3-pointer right there. They just shanked the hell out of an extra point, wasn't it? Hit the upright. Lucky to even do that. So that's 4 points. It might have been a case where that probably did that not cost them a chance to get a game-winning field goal, where at the end of the game they're at the 49. There's 9 seconds left. They probably would have went for another, 5 or 10 yard play to get within a 55-yard field goal at least. I would say that probably cost them.
You had the return reverse that basically failed. They had to start on
too much time there.
Yeah, other than the fact that they didn't turn it over on that special teams play, that was literally the worst thing that could have happened to them there.
Yeah, not good.
Because they lost both time and yards doing it when they were out of timeouts and had less than a minute.
Just a lot of poor play. So if you want to take anything away from it, there was just a lot of poor play in this one. Charlie, did you have any problems with the 2 catches? Clement, the running back, had the first catch, and Ertz with the game winner. Did you like that both of them were touchdowns?
The Ertz one, I definitely think should have been a touchdown. I thought they were going to say the Clement one. Side note, boo to the Wisconsin guy. I'm sure Traxxer and I can both agree. We don't care for those Badgers a lot.
There was a stretch.
I did not think that was going to be a catch. The way it played out, I'm glad it was a catch, but I don't know. It seemed like he had 1 foot in and then the right foot won because it seemed like he didn't have control. And I don't know. The whole catch thing's weird because they've got different refs that aren't interpreting it the same way, and now nobody knows what a catch is anymore. And it started with the Calvin Johnson thing, and it just keeps we're just to the point now where it's just I don't know, just hurry up and tell me so we can be upset about it.
Marcus, why? Charlie said, Calvin Johnson thing from 10 years ago. This was not an issue. This was not an issue, and now it is. What the fuck happened?
I felt like they explained it properly, and on the second one, on the Ertz touchdown, I thought that was the right interpretation, the right call. I'm glad that they didn't bring the Jesse James aspect into it because it seemed like he more so established himself out of the end zone separately from the catch.
Like I said at the time, he took 3 goddamn steps tripped over a guy and dove from the 3-yard line to the end zone. And like, oh, no catch. I mean,
to me, it was basically it wasn't quite the same as the Des Bryant play, but pretty similar. And
Yeah.
They didn't call that. I mean, I would agree with Charlie. They called both of those plays correctly. I'm glad they were called that way. The first one was not consistent with what they've called this season, and that's the frustrating part. I think the second one lives a little bit more separately from even the Jesse James play, just because, like you said, he caught it way out, dove in. I think that's the way a lot of people would like to see that ruled. And plus, if he did fumble it, he recovered it in the end zone, giving the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get that.
And so, that first call, I honestly, I saw the replay and I thought that's going to be overturned based on what we'd seen earlier this year, and they didn't. And I think that's probably something most fans would like to see, just the way it was called.
Also, side note, on the first touchdown, the one to Clement, that was a let your nuts hang out throw by Nick Foles. That not a lot of dudes can make, and I did not think Nick Foles could make that throw. It was just like, oh, that was a small window that you almost effortlessly put that in there.
Where the hell does this guy come from? Get the balls to
This.
I mean, he was good with Chip Kelly. I mean, it was like 27, 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was crazy good. And then he wasn't. And then he's with the Rams and just complete shit with Keenum. And he's with the Chiefs. He comes back to the Eagles. And it's like one of those guys that, had a pretty good 10-game stretch. But then he comes in and plays like shit for a long time, for like 3 or 4 games. And then, Vikings, we're going to light your ass up. And New England, we're going to light your ass up. Charlie, I think, like we mentioned 2 weeks ago, Keenum probably cost himself, a long-term contract. I would say this guy right here probably got, instead of the Eagles getting maybe like a 4th-round pick for him, I think some team's going to be dumb enough to give up a 1st-round pick for this guy, which I would not do, but they're going to.
Yeah, I don't think Nick Foles is going to be starting for the Eagles. I think Wentz is still going to be their starter going forward for a variety of reasons. But somebody's going to. I don't know who it's going to be. Hell, it might be my Dolphins. It'll be like, yep, Nick Foles, you're our guy. And like, I don't want to make this to be like, oh my God, he's terrible. Like, I think he's an all right quarterback who got, like some guys do. He got hot at the right time and was really good against Minnesota. I never in a million years thought he'd be able to do this 2 games in a row, especially one of them the Super Bowl. But yeah, he's going to get paid by someone. Maybe I don't know. It could be any team. Probably the Browns.
You got Browns. You got Arizona. See what Tannehill wants to do. I'm sure Minnesota will be mentioned, which is absolutely horrendous. Marcus, is it fair to expect Foles he's not going to be this good? I don't think he's going to be. Where is he at here? Is he as terrible as he was? Is he as good as this? Somewhere in the middle. Is he worth? Okay, how about this? Is he a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yes.
You think?
I think part of it is they have to replicate kind of what he's been doing, what he did in Philadelphia both times, because he was moderately successful under Andy Reid. So I don't. It's got to be somebody who's going to run sort of that run pass option.
What do they call those, Marcus? What do they call those?
They call them RPOs.
I would have paid some company $5 million. I would have paid some company $5 million for them to say, "Don't say that ever fucking again, please." Enough with the RPOs. We got it.
Well, Chris Collinsworth had no idea of the difference because some of those were just play action passes.
You don't know. Every play is an RPO.
So
everyone. I can't wait for some bullshit high school football announcer to use that bullshit calling games. I would like it.
It's not good.
I would like it.
Good. It could be you. You could just.
No, ain't me. Ain't gonna be fucking me. I tell you, the one game I do a year, sure as fuck, between Parkston and Platt, sure as fuck ain't gonna be saying RPO by Johnson. Nope.
On the Nick Foles note, this isn't a perfect comparison because he's not as good of an athlete as this guy. But like, it's not crazy to think that he could be like Alex Smith, like an okay. If you've got other pieces around him, like he could be good and he could win games for you still. But like, you need like other dudes.
Yeah.
Well, how about I think
like the best offense the Philadelphia's got.
I think Nick Foles' ceiling is way higher than Alex Smith, but his floor is very low as well. I think Alex Smith is like the most there's not a he's like his best is here and his worst is here. There's like
he's a guy in the NFL.
Like he is the guy. He is a guy of all the guys. He is like the barometer for life. You both like the Seattle and New England Super Bowls, which was a very good finish as well. Marcus, play the role of Eamon in this year because we laid Eamon to rest years ago. He thinks this is the best game ever. This fucking Seattle New England game, and and I go and look back at it, and it was whatever the hell it was, like 10-3 or some bullshit score in the third quarter. I mean, what the hell do you remember about that? I mean, a great fourth quarter like New England always plays, but like I obviously wouldn't say it's the best fucking game ever. We all like it as a super, but channel your inner Eamon here and say what the fuck is he remembering that I'm not.
I mean, you had some great plays in the fourth quarter, and you had
sure.
But I'm not going to make the argument that it was this amazing
best
game either.
Game for Christ's sake.
It's a great
very good game.
Great Super Bowl up there. I would probably put Vikings Saints from a couple weeks ago ahead of that Super Bowl, to be honest, because you had the big lead, you had the comeback, you had the big changes at the end. That would be a little bit more for me than even that game, even though it wasn't the Super Bowl.
Like with this game, it was 15-6, and New England, missed some stuff, missed some points, left some points out there. But like the thing I liked about this game was that first quarter, like throughout the entire game, shit was going on. There wasn't like a lull in the game. Charlie mentioned the Rose Bowl, and that was a big, Oklahoma kills in the first half, Georgia kills in the second half. Different types of great games. But I like this, where every quarter, like the Eagles were doing something. When they weren't doing something, New England was coming back. I don't think any team scored more than 2 times in a row. So teams answered quite quickly. Let's see. So when Stacken gets on here, I want to see his thoughts, because my big beef was just the dog shit of the last 2.5 minutes for Philadelphia. Charlie, your thoughts on this? I thought they should have ran it down, and I don't think anybody's gonna mention this at all, but because they end up winning, but they do give the ball back to New England twice in the last minute. I thought Philadelphia's execution at the end was very bad, especially that second to last drive. I thought it was horrendous.
It says here
go ahead, Traxler.
It says here that the Patriots are the first team in NFL history to have 600 yards in a game and lose. So,
also never
punted. Lions, enjoy your new head coach, Matt Patricia.
Oh, that's going to be a joy. Jesus Christ.
You said the second to last drive for the Eagles.
Yeah, because there was.
Remind me what happened or how their second to last one. Because their last one was the field goal.
The 3-and-out field goal. It's a long drive. They go for it on 4th and 1 at the 40 and get that. And there's 2:30. They throw it to Aguilar, which seemed like he had 20 catches in the second half. They throw it to Aguilar. They get a first down at around like the 20-yard line. He goes out of bounds. There's 2:37 left. My big thing was stay in bounds with 2:37 left. If you stay in bounds, either that's the last play before the 2-minute warning, or New England has to use a timeout. Instead, he goes out of bounds. Clock stops at 2:37. I think they run it once. They call a timeout. They pass it a couple times. So I thought they could have ran it all the way down to the 2-minute warning. And shit, they had 3-4 more plays. They scored the touchdown. We had the review. They kicked it off. New England had a couple plays. Brady fumbles. There's still like 2:10 left. They run the ball once. They call a timeout. They run it again. There's like 8 plays when there should have been no plays.
The thing that stuck out to me, I didn't think of the staying in bounds when it happened. I probably should have noticed that. But was the last play before the 2-minute warning,
Could have passed.
Philadelphia ran it for like 2 yards. And then the clock stopped. And I was thinking, like, the clock's going to stop either way. Like, this should be what is your best pass play for 9 yards?
Because if you get that, game's done.
The game's over.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, they ended up still winning anyways. I don't want to completely be like, A, because they won, and B, because Doug Peterson called a fantastic game. But I did think that was odd.
But the thing again, New England had the ball 91 yards away with 58 seconds, and their first three downs don't do anything, and there's 40 seconds, 45 seconds to go, and it's 4th and goal from the 9, and you're still like, fuck, they're gonna blow this. So it's still like you do not want to give him the ball. And what happened? I mean, we saw the last play. Marcus, I thought they were going to catch that pass. When it got tipped for the second time or the first time, there was, I don't know who the guy was there. It was Gronk, it was Amendola, and whoever the hell number 13 was. It wasn't Hogan, exactly. I don't think. Well, Hogan, and then Cooks gets murdered. Whoever that guy was, he was the guy that would have got it, dove in the end zone. I thought they had it.
I thought that I just have this hunch like they're at midfield, and you always hear them mention, it could get a pass interference. I'm like, this would be the chance where they would get a pass interference, and then you'd see the ball on the 2-yard line or whatever. It was reminiscent of the second Giants Super Bowl. Where they almost converted that one as well, and so and then they would have still had to go for 2, which would have been incredible. You'd have had this great play, and then you still got to run something. So it was, just a great throw you expected out of Brady. I'm just baffled by the fact that he threw for 500 yards in the Super Bowl and they didn't win the game. They didn't he turned the ball over on the strip sack, but didn't punt.
He should have probably been intercepted once or twice.
Right. Yeah.
He was lucky.
They mostly avoided the big colossal mistakes until the very end. But that's kind of the opposite of what happened last year. They had big pick six, all that stuff. But their run game was fine, but it just seemed like the defense is where it's at. They had to be better that way, and they weren't. So that was pretty incredible.
I don't know if you thought this, Traxler. Kriens and I were talking about this before we started. But on that last play, which I didn't think it was going to be the last play at first because there were 9 seconds left.
Yeah.
But when, I don't know who it was, whatever defensive end came in, and Brady sidestepped him, and then you saw him cock his arm to throw it, I was just like, oh my God, there's somebody standing open in the end zone somehow right now, isn't there?
Yeah, it honestly looked like, because didn't Rodgers do that? In a couple of those Hail Marys he's had, he usually sidesteps somebody and then slings it down there, and that's kind of what I thought too. It's like he's open, or somebody's going to be open. Somebody's at least going to get a hand on it, and they almost did.
Even with 9 seconds left, I think they had at least 2 safeties at the end zone. And those last couple of those last plays, Gronkowski got an extra couple yards, which was a risk, and they got about 30 yards, 25 yards. Those last 2 plays. Was that the same direction as the Vikings play or not?
They're going the other way.
I'm going the other way. What a deal that would have been. You have the Diggs deal, and 3 weeks later you have this. If that would have happened, I like this game because of all of this stuff. There's so many things. Hail Mary at the end, strip sack, the time management with 2.5 to go. Nick Foles,
the bad kicking,
the missed field goals. The reverse on the kickoff, going for it on 4th down twice. Brady loses or drops a pass that would have probably picked up a good 20 yards, and Foles catches a touchdown. All of these, this was most yards in a game ever. Brady almost thrown for the most yards ever. This was a lot of things happened, and I like that a lot of things happened. So.
And we don't know this now. We won't for a few years, but it's possible. And I've been tried to be on the short end or the early end of the curve on this before and failed to.
Is this it?
But it's possible that it's like, oh yeah, that was actually the last time that Brady and Belichick made a Super Bowl together. I'm not saying it will be. It could be, though. I mean,
one of them will be.
Brady will be 41 next year.
I'm in the camp that thinks they'll make one more stop at it. I don't know if they'll win, but it just seems like you look at the AFC.
I know it's going to be close. I know that much.
Yeah, who are the other teams you think
Nobody
are going to make the challenge in the AFC? Yeah, so
because old Jacksonville ain't a
That was
quarterback.
one of the first things I thought of in the chat when we were talking about who's going to be in the Super Bowl next year. Is I was like, well, I could see a few NFC teams, and then I was trying to think of an AFC team, and I was like, well, I don't know if it's going to be the Steelers because Ben's old and there's that stuff. And I was like, man, who else could it be from the AFC? There are not a lot of AFC teams that you look at and go, oh yeah, this team's going to be great for the next 5 years.
Like you look
and
at
by not a whole lot, I mean like none.
None. Like you look at New England, and you look at this run for almost 20 years, and Pittsburgh's been the second best team, and whatever team Peyton Manning has been on has maybe been the second or third best team. So you look at dynasties, you look at like the Bulls, and if the Bulls and Jordan weren't around, then who's winning the deal? The Rockets won it twice. Then he comes back and he wins 3 in a row. And if he's not around, the Jazz probably win it once. Reggie Miller maybe gets one with the Pacers. Like if you look at if you take away the Patriots, like who's winning these Super Bowl? Does Manning have like 4 instead of 2? What Roethlisberger's got? What 2? Maybe he's got 4 instead of 2. Does like a Phillip Rivers? Does he get one? Does Andrew Luck get a Super Bowl? Marcus, who would have been these teams in there that Brady is kind of trampled on?
I buy the idea about Roethlisberger and also Rivers. I mean, the Chargers were pretty good there for a few years, and they weren't maybe necessarily directly replaced by the Patriots. In some cases it was Manning that kept him out of there too, but. And it's worth, just sheer dumb luck. We had the Jets in the AFC title game
twice in a row.
Twice in a row. We had it, if you're willing to go back far enough, 98, they were in the championship game as well. So, and just sort of, 3 dumb chances they've had as well. So, it is interesting to think about it in that way. I would say, it's, what was it last year? The Eagles were 7-9.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people had them pegged as a Super Bowl team this year. They win it all now, and especially given the fact that they blew through their starting quarterback as well. I would say that the Patriots probably have one more run, but we're seeing on Twitter that Gronk isn't committing to playing next year. So
what the fuck's his deal? What is his contract?
He's thinking about retiring.
Oh, fuck him. What is he, 30, 20? He ain't fucking retiring.
Yeah, he's probably 30.
Shit. That's ridiculous. That's fucking stupid. And these reports out, people are saying this is it. Fuck them. They don't know a goddamn thing. That's so fucking stupid. Charlie, you look at the NFC side and all of these different teams that they've played, and you've got, all of these different teams that are surprises. Rodgers has made he's made one Super Bowl?
He's made 1 Super Bowl and he won it.
Yep.
And he's not guaranteed to
And
make
he's
another.
played, I think, two other NFC
Yep.
title or 3 NFC title games. 2 or 3.
Should have beat Seattle.
One, the Seattle one that they lost, and then the one to Atlanta that they got smoked.
Did Chicago beat Green Bay? Who did Chicago beat? They beat Seattle in the
When
second.
the Bears lost to the Colts, the Bears beat the Saints.
Bears beat the Saints. That's right. Saints.
The year the Packers won it, they beat a Bears team that was mediocre and had like the easiest run ever to the NFC title game, where I think they had to beat like an 8-9 Seattle team.
As a 6 seed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is this? What do we got here? Is
that a Rob Gronkowski jersey?
What is this? 11? No, this has got to be Randy Moss. So is this Randy Moss? Hello? Well, fuck.
I think he's gone.
I guess we offended Stacken. Apologies to Stacken and his family.
I think that was a Moss jersey. Wasn't it 81? Hello?
I can't tell.
Mr. Stackett.
Talk. Can you talk? You should. Well, I can't hear
Can't hear you. Yeah, we got to do better than that.
Reset the clock.
He can't hear us.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, he's got the.
Stackett, you have to download the plugin like I had to do.
Oh, I can hear the beer.
What if I talk like this?
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I still can't hear you.
We can hear
Well,
you.
at least we can hear you now.
I'll try coming back in.
Use your outdoor voice. You know how stupid that is back when they told you use your indoor voice and outdoor voice? There's like do you talk any differently outside than you do inside? Fuck no.
No, I always get told that I talk too loud and I should talk quieter regardless.
Like
I would make the argument that if you talk the same inside or outside if somebody's 5 feet away from you, but you also talk the same inside or outside if they're 50 feet away from you.
It's all a matter of it's not a matter of whether you're
building. You yell at them anyway.
It's not a matter of if you're indoors or outdoors. It's a matter of you're 5 feet away, are you across the room? It's like your indoor and outdoor voice. Fuck you.
Those a-holes also told us that cursive would be important too. Remember that? And how worthless cursive is?
I had one buddy of mine. He wrote in cursive everything, and you couldn't read the shit. And that's cursive, not.
For like 3 years, I wrote in cursive because they made us, and I could never read anything I wrote. And then I was like, "This is dumb. I'm just not doing it anymore. I don't care if they get upset."
It's not a needed skill, I would say. Not a needed skill at all. So Stackin, he is efforting. What we were talking about? Yeah, like Rodgers has made 1, and Favre made 2, and he never got back to 1 after 98 or 97.
I've had this discussion with some Packer fans recently, and I would just say that to this point, Aaron Rodgers is talented, somebody I admire, but his career has been a disappointment. You gotta do better than 1 Super Bowl.
Like, I've said that. I think I probably said this last year. Hello, we could hear you last time. Stackin, can you hear us? We can hear you. Do you have to download what the hell did you call it, Charlie? A plugin? Plugin?
Yep, that's what they're called.
Or change browsers. Use Netscape if you've got Netscape. Use that. It's the same thing you had, right? A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this was the exact same. Because I used Firefox at first, and then Firefox quit working, so I started using Google Chrome. And then all of a sudden, 2-3 weeks ago, was when it was just like, I just could not hear anything you guys said. So
it's stupid. I don't like it.
I'll do this for 4 months until this stops working, and then I'll have to find another way.
And there was a time where it did not echo, and that was a good time. Because I think I've said this many times. I'll say it again. I asked when we did the TV show. When we did that, it was the Steelers-Packers Super Bowl, and I'll look this clip up again probably tomorrow. I asked the panel, will Rodgers ever get to 1 or win 1 again? And I think we probably all said yes. And it's like, well, it's not a guarantee because this is so difficult to do this. And they've done it 8 times, and they've won 5 of them. And Roethlisberger has 2, and Rodgers has 1. And you just go down the line, and it's so difficult to get 1, just to get there. Marino went once. You can't hear anything.
Stan Humphries just went once.
Stan Humphries. If you would have told me in 95 Humphries isn't getting back, I would have said bullshit. Bullshit.
I would just once.
Huh?
I would also say that I think.
God damn it! Stay here for 2 fucking seconds so I can type something, you motherfucker. You know what you're saying?
I would say that if Brady is to make it to another Super Bowl,
that's 9 of them for fuck's sakes. No franchise. Well, has any franchise made 9?
If he would, if he would make it and lose, then he'd be 5-4. But that's just evening things out. It's not, it's more so amazing the fact that he'd be there at 9 Super Bowls rather than how it would break down between how many wins and how many losses.
That's a good point. I mean, they cashed in a lot of chips getting that first one against that Rams team. And I guess this is just, he's got a few to make up for where it's like, nope, you need to lose as the favorite a few more times doing one.
Yeah.
We could hear him.
And that part of this should not be lost either. The fact that the Eagles were underdogs all 3 times. I hate the dog mask thing, but they won all 3 of those games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, if your phone would work, that might work.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same. There's some eerie, weird similarities to New England beating the Rams in 2001 to the Eagles then beating said Patriots this year, where it's like, oh yeah, your starter got hurt and your backup came in and was pretty good, and no one really thought you'd win in the playoffs, and you kept winning, and no one gave you a shot in the Super Bowl, and you did it.
Well, yeah, you said 4 losses would be the most ever.
Well, 4 is the most ever because Jim Kelly lost 4 in a row. You got Tarkenton, Kelly, Brady, and John Elway are the quarterbacks that have lost 3 times. That's not bad company.
Would Charlie say something about pushing your chips in? What?
Well, he was talking about how we were talking about how Brady's 5-3 now in Super Bowls. If they make it back and they lose again, they're 5-4. That's more so evening out over 9 Super Bowls than anything. You mentioned, or somebody mentioned,
call him LeBron. You call him LeBron, but he's got to lose about 5 more. So
they just as well could be 8-0 or 0-8 in Super Bowls. And Charlie said they cashed in a lot of chips, winning that first one over the Rams as a big underdog. So
Stacken's efforting, so that's what he's doing right now. I have Chris Berman out there. That's great, and he's out there for a time.
This is the right way to use them.
Use
couple times a year.
Twice a year. Use them like Molitor uses the closer. About twice a year, you'll throw them out there.
Use them like the WWE uses Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There you go.
Only in big moments.
Like Jim Ross.
And sparingly, yeah.
Jim Ross, you'll do the Undertaker match at WrestleMania, and that'll be it. So, do have a trivia question, time permitting, that has to deal with football and things related to
Kevin Hart got kept off the Super Bowl podium, and it's great.
Why the fuck would he have been up there?
He thought he was
tried to
be up there, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah,
okay.
Security guard said no.
Good. You went up. You went up there. What, Friday? 1 day, 2 days? What was your deal?
Just Friday. Just went up there in the morning. Checked out Mall of America. Checked out the Radio Row setup. And then took the train downtown. Checked out Super Bowl Live. Checked out the zip line thing.
You park at the mall?
Parked at the mall. Bought a ticket for $4.50, and that was cheap transportation considering it was $100 to park downtown. So worked out pretty good. Obviously, didn't go to the game. Didn't have a credential, but worked out pretty good. So glad. Given that it was in our backyard, figured
What did you like?
To check it out. I thought it was cool. The media row or radio row area was a clown fest, but Sirius had their setup. You could listen to the shows. They had plenty of celebrities filtering through there, so you could see a lot of them. And the Super Bowl Live thing was cool. It was kind of a fun setup. They had a few fun things to do. Of course, all the propaganda and memorabilia you could buy. I don't have it with me, but I bought a Super Bowl mug, and I drank out of that tonight. No real omen, I think, either way. But yeah, it was fun. Just to it was free to check free at the Mall of America as well. And I don't know. I realize I'm probably naive. It seems like the later in the week, more people say, Minnesota's not going to get another Super Bowl, or if they do, it'll have to be a while.
Yeah,
I get the sense that we could see another Super Bowl here in 15 years, maybe. So.
Oh.
Important question. You went with Schottenkirk, right?
I met him up there, yep.
Did you two eat at Hooters in the Mall of America while you were there?
No, I didn't. I've never ate there.
Is it still there?
I don't know if it is still.
I went there
I had never,
once or twice.
I don't think I had ever even been on the 4th floor.
Oh my.
And that's where I parked and went in, and then you go down to the 3rd floor, and that's where the media area was. And I don't think I'd ever. I had been on the 3rd floor, but I had never been in the part where they had this, atrium and the Super Bowl stuff. It was cool. I mean, just tons of people jammed into a pretty small area, but it's not very often that you get 10 feet away from Jared Goff or Terry Bradshaw.
Matt Asiata.
So, Asiata was not there.
Oh,
Travis Kelce walked right past me in the food court wearing his Old Spice shirt. So,
if you had a pass, could you have spent a week up there, going to the different press conferences and shit?
Yeah,
and,
I think so.
You think you could have?
They issued. I mean, they obviously issued like week-long passes, and some of them weren't even for the game. And then they issued day passes. That's what some people were on. And if I think you probably could have stayed up there all day. I think 5 days of it would have definitely gotten old, but just checking it out for one day for I think probably 3 hours total for me was plenty. So
I wanted to do the radio thing. That was the only thing I wanted to do. Radio deal.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah. So.
What else we got here? Oh, yeah. Randy Moss made the Hall of Fame. He's the best ever. Owens finally made it. I don't know why he should have made it on the first time. And he got a bunch of guys with Urlacher. Who else? Who else made it?
Brian Dawkins.
Brian Dawkins made it.
I didn't kill a guy, but I talked someone else into killing the guy, Ray Lewis.
Jesus Christ. Is this, I don't know if the best Hall of Fame class ever, but you've got Moss and Owens. You've got Urlacher and Lewis. I mean, this is a stout class, it seems to me.
I think you have to kind of grade them differently as to when there's quarterbacks, because I know there have been times before where there's like 2 quarterbacks in the same class, and that kind of changes things. But like of non-quarterback years, I think this one might be the best without a Hall of Fame quarterback. Because there was one where it was like
2 or 3
John Elway and
quarterbacks?
Barry Sanders in the same one, and it was like,
good.
that's pretty crazy. But I mean, this also quite good.
I didn't like the baseball thing, and you got to get the certain numbers, and the baseball thing is dissected. But the football thing is like, nobody knows how that works. ND Stacking, Blogspot.
There we go.
There we go. Is this on your computer?
Stacking, you can hear us.
I can.
And that'll do it. Sports Lounge 240. We will see you next year.
No, I mean that's actually perfect because I gotta go walk Noah again because he's being a.
You have to walk him?
Yeah, you have to get him down for his nap.
Thought he's already down. I already put the gas mask on him.
Well, I mean, you gotta gas the kid up at some point. He's got enough gas to like fuel a Hummer.
The gas man.
That's one thing we could call him. So
What? Randy Moss? Is this Randy Moss?
This is Randy Moss. Yep.
Good. Child. Let's see. What are we? A month and a half into with this kid?
7 weeks in a day.
7 weeks in a day. Are surprises? Are you surprised how much he shits? What did you not expect? Or what did you just not know about? The sleep situation?
For him to be as loud as he is, everything he does is loud. He farts loud, he burps loud, he eats loud, he sleeps loud. He's a loud child. He takes after his father. So I guess I didn't realize he would be quite so loud. So I'm going to get him down here, and then I'll be back hopefully in 5 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Blogspot's going to be back here in 5 minutes. That'll be good.
What do you think Stacken's kid thinks? That he lives in a world where he doesn't even know about Carson Wentz. Nick Foles is just the man in this kid's world. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this quarterback's just tearing it up for. I mean, all he knows, Philadelphia is one of the greatest football teams ever.
Here's what I think Stacken's kid thinks. He thinks, my dad, everything he has is big. His hands are big. My God, his jersey collection is large. Their dog, he hates the dog like you wouldn't believe. It's just tremendous, I think, is what it is. Schottenkirk AAA. He had, what did he have? Seattle, Pittsburgh for next year. I don't believe any of us picked the Eagles to even make the playoffs this year.
No.
So that's
and why would you? I
it's a
mean,
good trend to continue, and I'm sure, Charlie, you had
I saw somewhere too that the NFC East now is the only division in football that all 4 teams have won the Super Bowl.
They are, yeah.
Now I can't confirm if there's another division.
I'm pretty sure that's
that,
right.
But I saw somewhere that someone claimed that they're the first division to have everyone do it.
That is correct.
But everyone's favorite division. Everyone loves the NFC East.
It's all
right?
great. Just a bunch of fucking teams. Charlie, what's your Super Bowl for next year?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in either of these 2 picks. The NFC seems like a crapshoot. I mean, they bring back a lot of teams with a lot of dudes. I could see 4 or 5 teams doing it. I'm going to take. I don't know why it could blow up in my face like many things Atlanta seems to do sports-wise. But I'll go with the Falcons. I could definitely see it being the Patriots again. I'm going to stubbornly not pick the Patriots like I've done most of my life and have it blow up in my face. And like we mentioned earlier, if you're not taking the Patriots, you start running out of teams quickly on who to pick. I toyed with saying the Buffalo Bills and then was like, no, that's dumb. Don't do that. So I will take the just as stupid thought and take the Oakland Raiders. And Texas is back.
Have a special guest coming our way for his yearly visit, so we'll see.
oh, great.
Testing?
Hello? Is that better?
It's better now. It's better.
What say you, Doug?
They let Mike Greenberg out of the cage. He's
Oh,
hosting
for
Sports
Christ's
Center.
sake. Doug, what's your
my
annual
Super Bowl pick?
a year later?
It'll be New England because it'll be New England, and Charlie, you said Atlanta, right?
I did.
I don't know that the NFC South will be as good as it was this year, but I feel like it will either be Atlanta or Carolina because if there's one thing we know about New England, they play Super Bowls in 2. They played teams twice in the Super Bowl, and both those teams were good this year, made the playoffs. But almost inevitably, one of those teams will not be in there. How about this? How about we bring it all full circle, and we have.
If you steal my pick, okay, you might go Rams here. You're not going to steal my pick. You go
New England,
Rams?
San Francisco.
You cocksucking motherfucker.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was going to.
That would be something to see the Patriots against Jimmy G and the 49ers.
Because I asked.
I want that to happen now.
That was my pick. That's my pick. Is that your pick as well?
Yeah, why not?
Because Charlie, I asked him.
I'm switching mine. I don't want Atlanta. I want the Los Angeles Rams now.
Okay, the Rams. That's fine. What is that Super Bowl? Patriots, Packers, Patriots, Cowboys, which would be very big. At this point, though, would anything be bigger than San Francisco and New England? It's Brady's team that he liked growing up.
Yep.
And Garoppolo looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think New England Green Bay would still be a bigger deal because it would be Brady versus Rodgers. But I get what you're saying, and that would be a huge deal too.
I have this weird habit here of watching the New England and rooting for them in Super Bowls, and I would be rooting for them again next year if they were to play the Packers, of course. San Francisco, I'd probably be rooting for San Francisco, I think.
No, so. I've rooted for New England every time, and I mean, I can't envision. I don't know, the last time I wanted an NFC team to win.
You wear white every time, too, just like they do, and they lost tonight. So,
right?
They wear white in every Super Bowl. You wear white as well, and it didn't work this time.
I wear white?
Do you?
I got a goddamn Oregon thing and a fucking Raiders hat, and what is this, a Clemson shirt underneath, for Christ?
I'm just trying to make a remark about how they thought it would be lucky to wear white in the Super Bowl, and they finally lost.
I don't think they got any choice.
They did have the choice. They picked to wear white. They were the
I think the home team gets the choice, and then they just usually wear their
home jerseys.
Oh,
there we go.
But no, they picked to wear white, and the Broncos a couple years ago were the home team. They chose to wear white, and they won the game. So Something about the AFC lately doing that.
Also, side note, Kriens, you said you've rooted for New England in every Super Bowl they've been in.
Yep. The only one, maybe Carolina is the only one where it's like, maybe. Carolina may have been the closest. But probably
the only one where I did not root against New England, the only one where I was pro-New England was Seattle. And the one last year against the Falcons, I was kind of indifferent. I didn't really care. I just wanted it to be interesting. And it certainly ended up being interesting.
What was the last NFC team maybe you wanted, or when's the last?
I can't remember.
When the fuck would I? Has that ever happened? I'm sure it has.
The Cardinals against the Steelers?
Yeah, for the Cardinals.
I think almost everyone rooted for the Cardinals. So that would have been what? That was
09 season.
09 season?
I wanted San Francisco to beat Baltimore.
Yeah, I definitely wanted the 49ers to beat Baltimore.
I wanted that to happen. That did not happen. I wanted Cardinals to beat Pittsburgh. Probably that didn't happen. Those would be the only two.
I wanted the horses to beat the Panthers for sure. So.
Oh, fuck yeah. 100%. 100%. So we got that. Still waiting for stacking.
They're just showing that. They're showing the replay. It's just kind of funny in slow motion.
So
the ball
close.
gets stripped out of Brady's hands, and he still does like the full throwing motion. The ball's completely gone. I love that. There's nothing he can do about that, but
it's funny.
I laugh every time.
I agree, and it's not just that. It's like also the look on his face of like, what's going on right now?
Wasn't great.
Also, back on the England dynasty talk.
More than 5 minutes from the sounds of it.
I just wanted to toss this out, but that most of the time, like when dynasties are like truly done, we don't realize it at the time.
Yep.
There's very few 98 Bulls where it's just like, yep, this is the end. They're not going to be good after this. They're going to break everything up. It's usually like, well, they lost, but they'll still get back. And it's just like, oh, nope, I guess they didn't.
It's kind of like Dallas and San Francisco in the mid-'90s. They were still good, but the Packers overtook them. And then once, 98, Vikings had a great year. Then once 99 was here, Cowboys and San Francisco were no longer the teams anymore. So it was a gradual thing, kind of like the Lakers in the 80s. Pistons overtook them, Bulls overtook them. It was a gradual deal. Hopefully this is not the start of an Eagles, because I don't need that.
I don't like that. I'm gonna get tired of that.
I wouldn't say this team was like truly a dynasty, but they were pretty darn loaded for a few years. I would say we've basically seen that with the Seattle Seahawks, though.
Seattle's good.
Where it was just like, yep, they're the best team in the NFL, and then they won the Super Bowl, and then they didn't, but should have. And here we are a few years later, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they're still good. I can see them in the playoffs, but they're not the team you look at as like, oh no, that's not who we want to play because they're better than everybody else.
That's true. Marcus, any basketball you saw this weekend? You had no. I don't think there was any ranked versus ranked teams, so there were bound to be some upsets. And
Kansas lost.
Kansas lost. Duke somehow lost. A lot of close games.
Duke St. John's was the game that we kind of had on at 11 o'clock just because it was on, and you're kind of watching it, and you're like, okay, St. John's isn't going anywhere. And then it's like 10 minutes left, and they're up. And it's like, they're gonna be in this till the end. And Duke just, I mean, it's as dumb as it always sounds. It's freshmen out there, and sometimes they just don't play well, and they make mistakes. And even a team that didn't have a win in their own conference beat them, and it's just very odd. I can't trust Duke right now. I realize they'll probably make the Final Four anyway, but right now I just don't have the trust in them. They'll make the second weekend for sure, but
here's what I'll say.
I think if they make anybody that defends them well is going to give them trouble, and that's the big challenge. So
the team that I feel,
I watched
yeah,
I watched UCLA, USC.
that was a good
UCLA
game.
won. Both those teams should be in the tournament, but
The team I feel most
and
comfortable.
Oklahoma, Texas beat Oklahoma, and I'm getting tired of the Trae Young stats being on the screen all the time.
He takes so many terrible shots. He takes so many shots that are unnecessarily long and awful that it's ridiculous. It's so God. I mean, it passed. What do you have, like 15 assists? Passing the ball, he's very good. He can put up 40 in a game, but fuck, quit shooting these shots that are unnecessarily long, unneeded. When you're not Steph Curry, you're not hitting enough of these to make it worth it. There we go. Fuck, he says. He says,
It
fuck
turns
it all.
out he has to do a lot of heat checks, but the thermometer is broken. So he's heat checking, but he doesn't know that it's not working.
Just not great to watch. Google Hangouts in general are not functioning. Oh, goddamn. So we got that. Like Kentucky, Kentucky won one? Was it Anthony Davis was the one they won? And Duke's gotten on this one-and-done train. This doesn't appear to be working. If you want to win championships, this freshman thing does not appear to be a great recipe for winning championships. When are people going to realize this?
I mean, it looks like you can do it.
You can do it and be
like,
good.
But it's tough.
You can Duke
and Kentucky have done it once.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say you can't do it, but just like any other team, it takes kind of like the stars align and you get breaks at the right time, which is what you need anyways. Even if you've got 4 returning starters with 3 starters that are seniors, so I mean you still run into some of the same issues with the bigger issue that while they may be mega talented, you've got guys who just aren't as experienced with college basketball and, team chemistry and things like that.
It's one of those things where, would they win any more with or without it, or would they win the same number? Like, North Carolina has won quite a few, but they've won 3 since 05, which I think is the most of anybody. I don't think anybody has won more than that. And they haven't done this one and done. They'll have, juniors and seniors that are not, top 5 picks, but they're very good players, and that's sustainable for them. And they've been very good for a while. So,
and it's just easier on all of us because you remember guys, and it's not like, it's March, I got to figure out what this kid's name is.
That one guy that played
for 3 weeks until he's done playing college basketball forever.
That was correct.
I think it's more an indictment of the format. I mean, again, if you were playing best of 5 series, I think these one and dones would work out a little bit better because they just have the talent. But you're playing one game 6 times, and kind of like we say, kind of like Duke is this season. I mean, you have one bad game, one mistake. I don't trust them to go through the tournament and not have one bad game out of 6.
Who can you trust?
I was going to say the team that I think is the most likely to reach the Final Four is Villanova, and you know how I feel about them, which should say something how I feel about everybody else.
Villanova, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and Purdue, your 4
Count them all in. Count them all in. I think Xavier's probably going to get a 2 seed, and I'm probably going to take Xavier to the Final Four. So I think they can run the table. Stacking.
And they struggled, yeah.
Yeah, who they played the other night? Struggled against Georgetown.
That was a great game.
Well,
I watched the majority of that game. Blewett, I think, hit a 3-point play and got fouled, so he had the rare 4-point play to tie the game up late in overtime, and it was just a sensational game.
Those Georgetown uniforms.
Ugly as sin.
No, that was a 10 out of 10. Those were perfect.
I'm not a fan, but
no, those Marcus.
I gotta check these out quick.
Marcus,
they're light blue.
did you see these?
Which one?
The teal Georgetown uniforms. These were perfect.
Teal.
I didn't see them.
Sky blue.
Well, whatever the fuck they were great.
Was it the Native American?
No. This was the whatever the fuck it is. It was great. Stacking.
They played Xavier, right?
No, I played Georgetown Xavier. This is probably my favorite Super Bowl. This one here.
It was the best Super Bowl.
Yeah, favorite, best. Charlie has a couple he likes. Seattle, New England, Cardinals, Steelers. Marcus has a couple like that. I think I thought this was a great game.
I agree. I mean, it was back and forth. Yeah, it was a phenomenal game. I don't know how the Eagles get away with 2 touchdowns. And
did you think either of those were touchdowns?
The Chris Clement one was not. He's juggling it. He is juggling it, and he steps out of bounds. That is not a touchdown. I don't have as big a problem with Ertz, but I mean, you saw the Patriots-Steelers game, with Jesse James. That is essentially the same thing. Now, Ertz does have, possession of the ball longer, is kind of turning in, being a runner. But, I mean, no, those aren't the uniforms.
That's the guy, though. That's the right guy.
That is the guy.
I was happy that the Clement
also,
one.
I looked him up, and I gave a thumbs up to the
I think
Georgetown
they're fucking.
Yankees.
They're like
Not as good as the Miami Vice ones, but pretty good.
I thought. I'm glad that both were touchdowns because whatever the fuck they were, both were catches. I thought the Clement one it moved a little. It moved a little bit, but I think he still had control. It's not like it popped out. I thought he got 1 foot, 2 foot. He had the ball. I was fine with that being a touchdown. I thought they would overturn it, but I disagree a lot with the catches. Like the Jesse James one should have been a touchdown. A lot of catches should have been a touchdown. I don't give a shit what the rules say. The rules can say whatever the fuck they want because nobody knows what's going on.
Know what the rule is.
That's the thing about it. I don't give a shit about the rule because nobody knows what the fuck it is. And nobody knows how to interpret the rule. So whatever the fuck those 2 catches were, I was glad those were 2 touchdowns because I thought those were catches.
I also read something that that play with Foles catching the touchdown pass should have been, or perhaps could have been called back because it should have been an illegal formation because they only had 6 guys on the line.
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, fuck Philly, man. I mean, they got all the breaks in this game, and I said that's fuck with the PH. Wow. That's fuck with the PH. They got the breaks in this one, but they made the big defensive play when they had to. I was very disappointed by Matt Patricia, and it really is going to be amazing now that
Detroit.
The Eagles have beaten 2 teams now who have 3 coordinators that will be getting head coaching jobs, and they just destroyed them all.
They did.
Stackett, how do you feel about your Vikings playing against a Matt Patricia-led Lions unit?
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Fuck. I mean, let's go. Let's line up. Vikings will beat them 8 out of 10 times. Can't go 10 out of 10, but 8 out of 10, I feel pretty confident about that.
I like this game because there was a lot of things that happened.
It was a great game. You didn't have, unlike last year, you didn't have one team come back from 28-3 down. But, I mean, who would have thought that special teams or kickers would have such an issue indoors?
Who would have thought quarterbacks would be catching passes?
Well, that's very true. Tom Brady, it's amazing that who threw it? Was it Amendola that threw it?
I believe it was Amendola. But don't quote me on
Amendola should have bitched Brady out because Brady bitches any time that one of his wide receivers drops a pass that's just put right in, and maybe if he doesn't jump like a little, I don't know why he thought
was he a sissy? Call him a sissy.
Sissy Brady. No, I'm not gonna do that.
When he was walking in today with his jacket and glasses, I thought he looked like Elton John.
Speaking of which, Elton John is going on his farewell tour. So.
A 3-year tour.
Have you ever seen Tom Brady and Elton John in the same room together before?
No.
I don't doubt that it hasn't happened.
Unconfirmed.
But I agree with you. I thought this was a great Super Bowl. But I do think the Eagles were the beneficiaries of a lot of calls that
poop on you.
I don't know how the NFL can feel.
How does the NFL sleep at night?
No, I just wonder how they can. I don't know how Al Riveron has a job. He shouldn't have a job.
Is this the head of officials or who is this?
Yeah, this is the guy in New York who's overseeing replay.
This Ron Rivera's cousin?
You need. I don't know. No, it's not.
Antonio Rivera, or the fuck you said?
get Dean Blandino back in there, or get Mike Pereira. Pereira's not going back, but get Blandino in there. They need something. I know the catch rule is going to be looked at this offseason, but fuck, I mean, that was just – what is a catch?
I'd get the mooch in there.
You can't have two questionable touchdown catches in your biggest game.
The second one was fine.
That one I don't have.
But it does say something that we're all sitting here thinking, is that second one, even though he took 3 steps and dove fucking 10 feet, is that a catch? I mean, come on.
Right.
How stupid is that? It's dumb.
Right. It's asinine that we have to ask it, but it's because the NFL doesn't know what a catch is or hasn't defined what it is. I don't have as big a problem with the Ertz one, but the Clement
is
one
that
is
Mike
touchdown.
Greenberg? Jesus
You shouldn't
Christ.
have any problem with
What
the
is
Ertz one
this?
stacking.
What is this? Is that Mike Green? Is that him on the TV? What is this?
Yeah, I think that.
What is
Mike
this
Greenberg,
bullshit?
Representative with Steve Levy.
Oh, boo. Boo to him. You know what? He's probably
just
the
sad
reason.
that Golick and Wingo are getting a lot of viewers still.
I don't like Trey Wingo.
I don't either.
Mike Golick is fine. I also don't like Mike Greenberg. He's
Golick needs
Who hates who more? Does Stacking hate LeVar Ball more, or does Kriens?
no, he hates him more. Like I don't like he to me like he's getting paid like millions of dollars, and they're gonna give him his own morning show, which I thought was gonna start like in January, but apparently it's not gonna start till whoever the fuck knows when now, like in April. I mean, you're 6 months off, for fuck's sakes. This can't be this difficult. But for me, like, he's just a guy. Like, how is he, like, somebody you're going to pay, like, $5 million to? How is he, like, a guy? Like, Scott Van Pelt, yes. I think Scott Van Pelt is, like, a number one guy. But if you want to counter this stack and you can't, I don't see how fuck Mike Greenberg is, like, he's like Alex Smith. He is, like, as Charlie put him, the guy of guys. He's like, all right, yeah. Scott Van Pelt's like an Aaron Rodgers, and Mike Greenberg is like an Alex Smith. Like, yeah, he's fine.
Before Scott Van Pelt. Oh.
Eamon?
Hello.
Say it! Say it! Thank you. All right. Stacking.
Are you wearing the shirt that Justin Timberlake wore tonight? There?
Hi, my name is Malcolm Butler, and I didn't play in tonight's football game.
Yep, that's a fucking cool.
We forgot to mention that an hour in. Stacking rebuttal to my Mike Greenberg.
Oh, you know what? I like Mike Greenberg, but I liked him with Mike and Mike like that combo on the radio. They balanced each other out really well. I thought. I'm not a big fan of Trey Wingo. I don't like the decision, and I think Greeny pushed kind of.
He wanted out. He wanted out.
And said, "Hey, do you want the show?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, if you want me to do it, I'll do it." He didn't come out and flatly deny anything. So
Charlie, who's the Shawn Michaels and who's the Marty Jannetty in this case? Is Mike Golick the Marty Jannetty?
I don't know. I think they're both gold dust. They're both like, okay, we don't need to see you anymore.
Neighbors. Eamon, your thoughts on this game? I thought it was the best, my favorite Super Bowl that I've watched.
Not as good as that Seahawks.
Yes, fucking Christ.
But just because that game was, literally on the 1 yard line with an interception. But this one was pretty good. It's probably there's eight of these Patriots Super Bowls now. And I felt this was like the second best one.
Can you give us an update? Can you give us an update on who just got shot outside of your apartment? Because I can only assume those sirens are coming from your place.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it looks. I can see an ambulance actually right now.
Well, good. Well, okay, you're here. What? I mean,
two fun facts here.
What happened?
What? No.
I got two.
What do you have?
No, they're not coming for me, and I don't know what it's about.
Okay.
Feels like that Geico commercial. I got two facts for you here.
Okay.
One, Tom Brady has only lost to teams from the NFC East in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Giants twice, Eagles once. And 2, the NFC East is now the first and only division.
Charlie had it first.
Fuck, I wasn't on there, but there we go. So,
I mean that.
You're the Mike Greenberg stacking, and I'm the Mike Tirico.
Well, if you're Mike Tirico, you should be in Pyeongchang right now getting ready for the Olympics.
How do you know I'm not?
Fair point.
Obviously, the finish was very good with Seattle, but what was so great about the game that I'm not? Obviously, the fourth quarter I remember was good. I remember it was like, I don't know, what was it, 10-3 or I don't know. What do you remember about it? That was, it's your favorite ever.
Mostly the finish, but I remember the other parts of the game being very, very good too. I feel like I remember both teams sort of executing, just like playing up to like their standard.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's very weird to me that there's a Tom Brady football game in which he throws for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and then that team of Tom Brady's loses. That's odd, and that's going to strike me as being odd forever.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck would that ever happen?
Sports, man of sports.
Hey, listen to this. Brady has 3 Super Bowl losses. Blake Bortles has none.
Oh, look at you.
Blake Bortles facts.
Stacken, what do you think is going to be the bounty for Nick Foles? For somebody to get him from Philadelphia? Or should Philadelphia hold on to him? You can always trade him in season. Oh, for Christ's sake!
A first-round pick.
Oh.
If we're talking about the Eagles and a bounty, are we talking about literally Buddy Ryan?
Sure.
R.I.P.
Sure.
I think it would take a first-round pick. I mean, if that's what you got for Sam Bradford, a first-round pick at bare minimum would be enough to that's the only justifiable.
Would you like it if your favorite team did that? Nope. I would. No.
No. No.
Kriens with a resounding no. Stacking, keep pondering. He's not sure. He's thinking about it.
But okay, has Nick Foles silenced his critics or his doubters?
Yes.
So I can understand. It's not like Foles he had 27 touchdowns.
He was great. These last 2 games, he will never play in 2 bigger games in the last 2 he's ever played in, and he'll probably never play better than he did tonight.
I think the Eagles, though, we know that Carson Wentz is an injury-prone machine, so it would be cool of them to keep Nick Foles. I think that would be something that they have to at least consider. But this does make me think, I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know how much validity it has, but apparently the Vikings are number 1 on Kirk Cousins' list. On his personal list.
They probably should be?
They should. I would only hope that the Vikings can sign Kirk Cousins if they spend under $80 million.
No, that ain't going to happen. I think they're going to give 5. I think it's going to be 5 for about 125.
I agree with that, but that's the only way I want Kirk Cousins in Minnesota is if they don't have to necessarily break the bank. I hope he would take a little less to play with a good team versus, cashing in like 100. He's already gotten 2 years, like $48 million guaranteed.
It's a good,
from
good amount of money.
Washington the last couple of years. And Washington, I saw today, they
franchise
could franchise him. How stupid of a franchise are they?
That would be smart though, because then they would trade him, and he would obviously be worth the first-round pick.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Rather than getting a third-round pick in next year's draft is compensatory. Eamon?
There's something that makes me that just makes me a little bit just like sick in the stomach about the idea of like
Kirk Cousins
having like A-list at all.
Being a top-paid quarterback?
Just being like, hey, I'm a quarterback, and these are the 3 teams I want to go to. Like, Kirk Cousins isn't very good.
Well, like, the deal
Robin,
with...
are you saying that you don't like that? You don't like that.
I don't like that. I don't want teams to want to have Kirk to desire Kirk Cousins.
The deal is that
shouldn't be a thing.
The deal is that Detroit really fucked it up for everybody, Marcus. Doug, if we could get Doug on the air, it wouldn't be better than Stacken's kid. It'd be pretty close. It'd be pretty close.
It'd be up there. I would agree with you there.
Like Stafford and the Lions fucked this all up because they gave him the big money. He's not the best, and so when you say,
damn it.
Huh?
Go ahead.
The ambulance just came for Drew. That's all that happened there.
So, like, if Stafford's the highest paid, then all these other guys who are better than him or comparable have to be paid just as much as him. So that's where we get in this situation where Kirk Cousins is going to ask for $30 million a year. I blame Detroit.
Yeah, it's not a good position. It is a good position if you're one of the quarterbacks that still has to sign. It's not a good position if you're anybody who doesn't want those quarterbacks to make that kind of money.
Yes.
So,
Eamon, a lot of fourth.
Can I interrupt and ask a Vikings thing?
Yes,
sure.
Ask a thing.
So, for me, officially, the Vikings had a playoffs in which they did two different bed shittings. The one bed shitting, the thing happened where they actually still ended up winning.
The thing that never happens, by the way. The thing that they never, that was their one lucky thing that they cashed in on.
So for me, there's two bed shittings in a single playoffs. And then,
pretty good.
How do you feel right now? Do you feel like if I'm guessing you're not thinking wow, we should have won the Super Bowl.
No, I said after the game, I think the Vikings would have gotten destroyed tonight. I think they would have lost by 30.
Not in that first half.
Huh?
Not in that first half.
I think they would have lost like they would have lost. I think Tom Brady would have fucking killed them tonight. I think he just would have.
Well, he fucking killed the Eagles, and they still lost.
That's right. I don't think the Vikings offense would have done diddly shit. So.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Wouldn't have done dilly-dilly.
I'm fine with them not losing at home to the Patriots because that's what would have happened. They had a good year. I'm happy they made the deal. Yeah.
I don't even think playing at home would have even helped them that much, actually.
It would have helped a little bit, I think.
What?
Now that I've seen it, I agree.
Home game, but not really.
I agree.
Skull!
Like a home game that's never been experienced by any team before ever, which is, in their home stadium as a Super Bowl. I don't know. It would have been weird.
It would have been cool, but we'll never know.
So it would have been like 40,000 diehard Vikings fans.
Sure.
Just totally prepared to diarrhea everywhere.
Yeah. Like I said, I could not.
You would feel that energy in the building.
Like Stacken, I could not have imagined being the Vikings. It would have been great to win this game. But you strip sack Brady, and it's 3rd and 5 with 2 minutes to go, and you're lining up for a 40-something yard field goal. And if you get this, you got a 90% chance. I could fuck that. I'll pass. I'll pass on that. I'll lose. I'll lose to Philadelphia by 40 points. I don't. No.
Kriens, you're saying you're that guy that during that Colts Steelers divisional game a decade ago when Jerome Bettis fumbled the ball, that the guy in a bar had a heart attack, and they were like, "Oh, so you're not going to watch the Steelers anymore because it's not healthy?" He's like, "Oh no,
I'm going to
watch every game." You are not that guy. You're the guy that's I need to make some life changes now after something like this.
It would have been because I should have. I'm sure it helped that the Eagles' loss was so terrible that the game was over at halftime. So I'm sure that helped. But could you imagine a minute and a half to go, and you got bumfuck Viking kicker with a 45-yarder to go up 8 at home. And then you hit it, you don't hit it, whatever. Obviously you would have missed the kick. But then Brady steps up, and he's got a 50-yard Hail Mary that fucking they almost caught. If that's against the Vikings, they catch that pass. They miss the field goal, they catch the pass. That's how.
You wouldn't have bothered stacking it all. He does that in his franchise every year on Madden.
Yes.
No, but I am closing in on my second straight NCAA championship in NCAA 2K8 with the Jackrabbits.
Very good.
Taking on the winner of Arizona and Georgetown tomorrow. So,
Thank God.
Arizona.
How did you think the telecast was?
Not good.
They made a lot of mistakes.
And I didn't even. I mean, I was at a goddamn bar.
Could you hear the announcers?
Even then, I had the awareness to be like, "What? Why are they doing this right now?" You know, like it was strange. I wouldn't give it a very high grade.
Could you hear the announcers?
Yeah, I could hear for the most part. Yeah.
Like they had the blackout for about 20 seconds, which wasn't great. You had Mike Trout in the crowd, the California Angels center fielder.
Nobody gives a fuck about Mike Trout.
Nobody. I mean, I don't.
I mean, you had all the Bradley Cooper shots with Loria. That's
Yeah.
like a fine, whatever. Just like some weird stuff. I like in the moment I was like, I don't know what NBC's doing right now.
Like I wanted to replay.
Four times.
I wanted to replay that goddamn extra point because I thought it was good or very close to being
Yeah,
good.
that was fucking close to shit.
I was like, all right, well, let's look like I think he made it, but it was a little wide right. Like, nope, he didn't make it. I'm like,
a
well,
slow-mo on that extra point.
and they never showed it. They never showed it again. There were some I I thought the replays. I wanted more replays.
Does someone have a mouse in their fucking keyboard?
It sounds like it.
It does sound like there's a mouse somewhere. Who's got the mouse?
Does Charlie have a dog? It's just
Sorry, playing with the stress relief thing. I'll
Oh.
stop playing with it.
may have been Charlie's dog biting on something. Yeah, so they had some mess ups. Eamon, halftime. How did you like or not like that?
Well, it's like it was like while Timberlake was performing, I asked my girlfriend. I was like, "Who did the show last year?" Because I didn't remember.
Lady Gaga.
It was Lady Gaga, and it's gonna be like the same thing a year from now. Which I'm gonna be like, "Who did it last year?" And then she's gonna say, "It was Justin Timberlake," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah." And really, the only one I remember in recent history is
Katy Perry.
No, it's Beyonce and Bruno Mars,
That was good.
which was
Fuck
a pretty
Bruno
good show.
Mars.
Wow.
So like, and then
I hate Bruno.
Timberlake did his like Timberlake songs or whatever, and it was like okay. And then like he had a weird outfit on that Marcus already pointed out, and they have this like a flower pattern. I don't think you can even see me right now. I think it's only my like
Your picture from the Argus.
avatar. Well,
Yeah.
that's not that's my stupid phone's fault, but like
That's fine.
it was whatever.
It was the Alex Smith of halftime shows. It was like, yeah, it's fine.
I think my favorite thing I saw is that someone was saying that Justin Timberlake must have been like, so what is it that people wear in the Midwest, like camo and these kind of pants? And no one ever corrected him on it. And they were just like, I guess. And that's why he wore that.
I've already got
Or like three camo shirts at once with two different camo pairs of pants at once.
I already got the Super Bowl halftime show for the NFL locked up next year. There's a show on MTV called Hip Hop Atlanta. You just gotta get all those guys down in and do a hip hop rap concert there at halftime. I think that's the way to go. You gotta go true to your roots, and that's true to Atlanta's roots.
My idea would be to have Chipper Jones unplugged next year.
Chipper Jones batting cage.
With Leo Mazzoni rocking in the corner. That's what I want.
And then Michael Vick with some dog races.
Whip him.
Special guest appearance from John Rock.
Boo.
Charlie, who won the commercials?
I guess Tide.
Tide won it,
saying,
folks.
hey, guess what? We're going to show up in random other commercials. And also just because I watched Stranger Things on Netflix, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that guy in Stranger Things. That made me smile a little bit.
There we go.
I would be lying if I said I paid more than 50% attention to most of the commercials.
You mean you didn't like Tyrion in the Doritos commercial, Peter?
I thought that was fine. I was playing around on Twitter at the same time too.
I thought the commercials were the best.
Honestly, I think culturally we're in a post-commercial.
We are.
At least as far as Super Bowl. I just don't think it's a thing anymore. I know people still. I know they still. It's like $4 million a second.
$5.
Or whatever bullshit. But it's just not a thing anymore. Really? Is it still a thing?
My question is, how does Tide have $15 to $20 million to spend on Super Bowl commercials?
It's because of all the stupid teenagers that keep eating the
Eat
Tide
those
Pods. All the
pods.
sales are going up.
Stacking. Stacking. A lot of
Yeah.
people. The Eli Manning one was probably the best, the most well received. I thought people popped big for that. They're like, oh yeah. But Tide was good because, okay, here's the deal. If you're going to spend $5 million for a commercial, do something different. And this was different, and this was good. This was creative, I thought. Because a lot of these commercials, they have them. And it's you got months, if not a year, to figure out what the fuck you're going to do. And this is what you do. And this isn't any different than any other commercial. And at least Tide, that was good. That was good.
I may have missed it. I agree. Tide was good. I had heard that Skittles was going to do a commercial.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Of a guy watching the Skittles commercial, and that was going to be it. And I don't know if I
didn't see it either.
They scrapped that. But yeah, I thought Tide was really good. I thought most of the commercials in general. I thought that this batch of commercials is probably the best we've seen in the last decade.
What?
I just don't even think they're even relevant anymore.
The top, yeah, not great.
Hyundai had a commercial before the game even started that was it was some youth soccer thing, and there was some dipshit soccer ref, and he just sent every kid off with a red card so that everybody could leave the soccer game early and go to watch the Super Bowl. I thought that was kind of funny.
I think the best one of the past 10 years for me is it was like a I don't even remember because it was like a car commercial, like a Paul Harvey voiceover.
Oh, that was good.
I think
Yeah.
it was for Dodge or something.
Wasn't that the Farmer's Prayer?
Yes, it was.
Something like that.
Yes,
I thought Sprint had a good one with the little robot telling the guy he had a dumb face. I thought that was pretty good. I don't know. The Danny DeVito M&M commercial was a little
That was good.
weird, but
we need Danny DeVito.
I like that he got hit by a bus, so I give kudos to M&M for that.
You need Danny DeVito climbing out of a leather couch naked. It's like It's Always Sunny.
Well, hey, now that Philadelphia's won a Super Bowl, they got a whole new all sorts of stuff for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia now.
I'm looking forward to it.
Can I make a Philadelphia fan thing?
Yep.
They suck.
So I watched the Super Bowl at a.
How was that?
This wasn't my choice whatsoever, but I ended up getting roped in with a group of people that went to this bar in downtown Denver that turned out to be an Eagles bar, and it was filled with
Eagles fans,
sweaty Eagle fans.
Sweaty.
And I think there was one or two fans who were wearing like a mask, or had a mask on their heads of a dog. And is that a German Shepherd? Is that a thing?
It is. They're the underdogs. Texas
is it an underdog thing?
Oh, for Christ! Is it really?
Yeah, it's underdog.
Good. Yep. Up.
That's all. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, they've been doing this since the Atlanta game. They were the first 1 seed to ever be an underdog to a 6 seed.
Atlanta should have won that.
They should have. Yep.
And that would have put the end all to this bullshit that we
How
had.
awkward is it to be Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
Pretty awkward.
you got a Super Bowl ring, but you didn't do the playoff thing yet. Eamon, I thought.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't really need to have you to beat the Patriots or
Win the Super
any
Bowl.
other teams.
Eamon, I thought obviously Foles played great. The stones of the coach, Doug Peterson, assuming it was him, I assume, to go forward on 4th and 5 at the 40 with about 5-6 minutes to go, or 4th and 1 at the 40, to have the 4th and goal at the 1, I know you would like coaches to go for it more, 4th and short. I assume you were a fan of his decisions to go for it.
Like in the moment when Philly could have took a chip shot field goal, I thought
Kick the ball.
Take this chip shot field goal, and then instead they do the trick play and Foles gets a fucking touchdown reception, which is obscene. But I bet you Belichick would have done the same damn thing, and I think that counts for a lot.
Does it say something that those two coaches are in the Super Bowl?
I think this is a situation where both coaches have
they're better than everybody.
Have a benefit of the doubt, sort of, especially Belichick.
Well, he went for it 4th and 5 at the 35. They could have kicked a field goal early.
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
That was I don't think it would have made a difference ultimately with 3 points, but you never know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you see it both. Like I always when it comes to that situation, okay, well, if they
miss it.
If they miss it, like,
how bad is
so
it?
what? Like, there's still a field position thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, what's the benefit? Okay, well, we
keep a drive going, score points,
or you punt it and you like give away like 25 yards of field position. It's just like big deal. In a game like this where there's 1,000 goddamn 4,000 yards of offense, like just
go for it.
Keep on going, And that was the way it was all night. Like you could get 12 yards pretty easily.
Yeah, defenses were not good. Defenses were bad.
Matt Patricia said, quote, "I didn't do a good enough job." No shit, Sherlock. No shit.
Has Malcolm?
Well, I was going to say Belichick fucked it up to begin with by putting in Rowe over Butler. Rowe got burned twice on that first drive.
Charlie, is it as simple as if they put in the cornerback, do you think they win? Or is this too much happen where it's, you never know?
I think there's too much going on to just say they would have win. I would have liked to see how it would have played out, though, with him in there.
Very odd decision.
It's very strange, yeah.
Honestly,
and we'll never know why, because he's never going to tell.
I hope we got to.
I need an explanation, like, coaching-wise, like, why that happened, because there has to be something a little bit more nuanced than, like,
what do you say?
Like, players' decision type stuff. Like, it has to be a little bit more than that, right? I mean, did he start every game?
Something happened. He did something, stayed out too late, or was late, or something.
But he played on special teams. Like,
did
it's
he?
not like he didn't see the field
Really?
at all. Yeah, he did play on. At least that's what they said during the game, and because they showed him crying during God Bless America or the national anthem, something like that, and Collinsworth is like, "Oh, I don't know why he's crying. We can only assume. It might be injury, it might not." But yeah, something happened. Maybe this is the decision where Belichick says, "You know what? I fucked up. I'm going to retire right now." Because all this, this is a bunch of asinine talk about him and Brady retiring tonight.
It is.
Gronk is now saying he might walk away. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Not a chance.
I think talking about a non-All-Pro, non-Pro Bowl cornerback, like, not playing, like, I really don't think you need to spend more than, 60 seconds on it. For me, it's like, at this point, we have to understand, the personnel choices and respect them on behalf of, Patriots coaches who know how to win Super Bowls.
Stacking, I don't believe you've seen our picks for the Super Bowl or heard them. What is yours for next year? I know you'll say, well, I like this. I want to see what happens in free agency. Bullshit, whatever. I just need a pick.
I wouldn't be surprised if.
I just need Team A and Team B. I think these are the two teams that will play. Obviously, these will not be right. I mean, nobody here even picked the goddamn Eagles to make the playoffs. So.
Okay, so here's the bold prediction. I got the Houston Texans out of the AFC.
Holy shit! Well, you like your quarterback. He's good.
I do like the quarterback.
Good pick. Good pick from you. Good pick.
If he can come back healthy, and you get Merciless and J.J. Watt back, I think that's good. So I got the Texans making the Super Bowl, and part of me wants to say the Arizona Cardinals, but part of me won't.
You don't even know who their quarterback is.
Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I will say it's going to be the Packers and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. So, still get the repeat. No, I'm going to say the Packers and the Texans.
With the
Texans winning. Another team that will win the Super Bowl before the Vikings.
Well, down to 11. Eamon, who you got?
Oh my God. Jesus, the NFC. Where's the Super Bowl next year?
Atlanta.
Holy shit. I feel like it's going to come out of the East again as far as NFC rep, but it's not going to be
Giants,
Dallas.
maybe.
Dallas?
No, it's not going to be Dallas.
Sure as hell ain't going to be Washington.
Or the Giants?
I don't know who it's going to.
Is this the Eli Manning gets hot?
Oh my God.
Man, how about the LA Rams? And how about the
LA Chargers.
That would be so sick. The Chargers. By the way, the Chargers should have been in the goddamn playoffs.
They should have. Yep.
Would you rather have a fucking Buffalo Bills playoffs?
Yes, the way
But
that
anyway,
Buffalo-Jacksonville game went, yes. That was awesome.
Let's just give Tom Brady another Super Bowl, and it's going to be the Patriots versus the LA Rams in Atlanta.
Okay, Brady gets one more. Just one more, you think? One more? Yes.
I think he's going to play for another 2 seasons, and maybe next season's the last Super Bowl.
Last one.
I don't know, man.
Charlie, you said
this year was fucked up, so
yeah.
Who knows about next year?
Charlie, I believe you said Brady's got one more.
Begrudgingly, I'm going to say yes.
I believe so. I think Marcus said yes. Nathan, do you think he's got one more? Whether he wins or not, one more? 7 more?
I will hesitantly say yes, because I don't want to doubt Brady. I will say yes, he's got one more.
Okay, so Amon had the Rams and the Patriots to bookend his 20 years. You had Houston and Green Bay. Charlie.
I want to make a switch here. I'm going to do Houston, New Orleans.
God damn it. Okay, with Houston winning.
With Houston winning, it's
No, that's fine.
The one thing.
No.
It's interesting, you hear about, Aaron Rodgers was upset about his quarterback coach leaving here, and I don't know if this is just fodder.
He's coming to Minnesota. He's coming to Minnesota.
He said, I would not be surprised to pull an old stack of adage here.
Oh, God.
He does not sound like he is resigned to, or he sounds like he is resigned to not playing in Green Bay for more than a couple more years.
Give me
Belichick's
him.
cutting Brady. Patriots are bringing in Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, my God. That'd be the worst. That would be awful. That'd be terrible. Charlie had... you had the Patriots.
The Falcons and the Raiders.
Falcons, Raiders.
Falcons playing.
And Marcus really fucked me over good.
You're welcome.
We have the same pick. It is San Francisco versus New England next year.
I love that.
That'll be it, folks.
Yeah.
I've been on that San
You're on
Francisco
it.
bandwagon.
I'm picking them. We're all picking them. Let's get on it, folks. No, Eli.
I mean, the Patriots just got done having a playoffs in which they had to beat
Tennessee.
the Tennessee Titans
Texans.
and the Jacksonville Jaguars. what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all.
Like we talked earlier about, I mean, if Brady or if New England wasn't around, does Manning have 4 Super Bowls instead of 2? Does Roethlisberger have 4 instead of 2? Does Phillip Rivers get 1? All of these things. It's just, ugh.
Yeah.
I think Philip Rivers would have 1 for each child.
Fuck.
So
Fuck.
12 Super Bowls stacking?
Goodness.
yeah, seems reasonable.
Does. Eamon, we're 27, soon to be 26 days away from the Summit League. You will be there?
Yeah, very likely. I'm there. I might not be there for the first day because I don't really anticipate a lot of like real
Competitive games?
competitiveness that first day, but I intend on being there for majority of the games afterward. I kind of especially want to be there
Tuesday night.
ironically, I want to be there, like, if there's a session when it's, like, Oral Roberts.
That's the best.
In Denver.
That is the best.
Omaha.
That's the best. Absolutely.
It is.
So you're talking about Sunday.
Sunday's the day.
There's 3,000 people there. Only 400 people are invested in the outcome. That's what you want.
It's like an 8:30 tip-off.
Yep.
Like, that's the game I want to be at. Like, almost more than the championships or, or like men's semis.
Just disgusting.
But yeah, I'll be there a lot for sure. It's gonna happen.
Charlie, your weekly updates?
I think I can't be there Saturday, period.
That's
because I've got to work Saturdays. So I think shooting for Monday and hoping that the Jacks aren't upset somehow that Saturday.
If they lose to Western Illinois, I'm going to fucking throw shit across the floor while I'm calling the game here. Like, why 24 missed? God fuck damn it. And just leave.
So mad you're going to throw feces.
No, not a monkey.
Lots of airtime for you. I mean, you were down low. I mean, lots of airtime for you on the TV last year.
We're going to hopefully get that again this year.
More
and I'm going to maybe put up a sign for the blog and the podcast.
I like it.
That's too bad.
I like it. As we wrap it up, Marcus, we have a trivia question. If you're awake yet,
I gotta call it. I gotta call it right now.
You gotta call it. Okay, we need at least 3 for a question. Charlie, Amin,
I'm good.
Nathan, here, and here. Are you all ready?
I don't have to work on Mondays, so I can go as late as you need to go.
Charlie, explain to the folk here what the trivia question last week was, from what you remember.
Let's see. It was naming.
Top
It was
20.
like naming quarterbacks who led the league in passing
Nope.
1 year or something
Top
like that.
top 20 yardage leaders ever.
That's what it was. Career, not yearly.
Yep.
The top 20 career passing leaders.
Wow.
But then what? Then what?
I don't remember. I remember I got last place of the 3 people.
You name one of the top 20 in career passing yards. You got a point.
Oh, that's right. And if you could name one of the top 20, then you had to try to name who the top 5 touchdown
Receivers
who caught
were.
the most touchdowns from them. Yeah, the 5 pass catchers who had caught the most touchdowns.
Holy shit.
It was most touchdowns of all time, the top 20. You name the quarterback, and then you get a point, and then you have to name the top 5 receivers, tight ends, running backs that they threw to, and you got points for that. And Marcus killed folks on that. So this one, similar. Drew was not there. Stacking, I don't believe you were there.
Nope.
Question similar to, but not exactly like that. So let's take a peek here. Let's go. Since there's 3, you want to do 15 answers or 18 answers?
15.
15 answers. So here's what we'll do. And Schottenkirk is not here to cheat, so that is good. We have
Go ahead.
the top fifth, since in honor of the greatest receiver and my favorite football player ever, Randy Moss. We want the 15 top receiving guys with the most yards ever.
Just receiving yards, career ever.
Career. So that's the first part. Then you get a point for that. Then if you get that right, I want the 2 quarterbacks that has the most percentage of their yards.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jeez.
So you want the receivers who caught the most passing yards,
Top
and
15.
then you want what guys threw the ball to them the most.
Most yards.
Yeah.
Most yards. And it's so, yeah. So possible 3 points per deal.
All right.
And we'll go Charlie, Drew, Nathan the way I see it. There we go. Charlie, top 15 receiving yardage dudes ever. And the quarterbacks. Top 15.
I will go Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is number 1 of all time.
And I will say 2 guys that threw him the ball many a times were Joe Montana and Steve Young.
That is correct. Who do you think was 3 and 4?
Jeff Garcia and Rich Gannon.
Boom! Yes. 3 points for you.
Thank you for those Madden video games I played as a kid, so I can remember that.
Drew.
I'll go top 15 ever, right?
Yep. And number 15 on this list has 12,700 yards. Jerry Rice is off the board.
I'll go Isaac Bruce.
He's 4th ever.
And then I'll say Kurt Warner.
And the top 2.
Oh, I gotta get the top 2s.
Kurt Warner is 1.
Oh man.
But he is not number 1. He's not number 1.
I seriously have to come up with another Rams quarterback.
Maybe.
I'm gonna be out on the first question here.
Well, no, you're not. As this continues, this is a rolling thing here.
No way. It's gotta be post. It's got.
Does anybody else think they know? Stacking, do you know? Stacking knows?
I think I do.
I don't know. I could take a guess, but it'd just be a guess.
I can't.
Nothing?
I can't think other than Trent Green. I can't think of another one.
Charlie, who do you think it is?
Is it Tony Banks?
He is number 3. Stacking, who is it?
Mark Bulger?
Mark Bulger.
Jesus Christ.
2 points for
Do
him.
you think anyone made jokes about Mark Bulger's pants ever?
Look at that Bulger.
All right. Well, I'll take Randy Moss.
Number 2.
And I will say
Number 3 all time. Excuse me.
Dante Culpepper and Tom Brady.
That'd be correct. Culpepper 37%. Brady.
Culpepper.
Tom Brady 19%.
Fumble Pepper.
Charlie and Nathan tied at 3. Rivalry renewed. Austin and Rock. Here we go again. Charlie.
I will take Terrell Owens.
Correct.
I'm going to go Tony Romo and Jeff Garcia.
He swept it again. Yes. Steve Young is 3. McNabb is 4. Carson Palmer is 5. Drew.
Carson Palmer.
I literally do not remember T.O. and Carson Palmer ever playing together.
Him and Chad Johnson. Him and Chad Johnson. 1-2 punch.
I'm still in this game.
Oh, we don't stop. Yes, you can't get it.
Hey, bro.
We get 5 times. We each get 5
times
answers,
around.
Drew. 5 questions. You get 5 tries.
5 cracks.
Japers.
The top 4 are gone. So
Right. That's
there you go. And if you get it wrong, you just lose your turn. So
okay. That's fine.
that's right.
It's fucking. Oh. It's hard for me to think of.
Receiver guys. Lots of yards.
Yeah. Hard to think. Let's go. All right.
Jesus.
I'm trying to think of the quarterbacks.
Taking a poop?
No. Just thinking heavily. Okay. I'm gonna go. Larry Fitzgerald. And it's Carson Palmer.
He's not on my list.
What?
He's not in the top 15.
Larry Fitzgerald's not one of the top 15 all-time receivers?
He's 28th
In what? In catches or receiving yards?
receiving yards.
This is by receiving yards?
This is for yards, yes.
That's amazing.
28th. So he's,
I would have assumed he was top 10.
yeah, he probably would have, yeah. Probably would have.
All right. So
Skipping.
I'm gonna
Go to you.
take a stab in the dark here.
You're gonna take an OJ in the dark.
Yeah. Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt is 12th.
Okay. I will say Kurt Warner and Mark Bulger.
Bam and bang from downtown. Charlie and Stacken tied at 6.
I went to take a pee break. I heard Stackins. Who did Amon guess?
Amon guessed Larry Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald is not in the top 15.
Larry Fitzgerald's not in the top 15.
I cannot believe that.
That's very surprising. I thought he was higher than that.
Well, let me guess. Timeout. Correction on the field. Let me.
Are you doing yards or receptions?
Yards. This may be outdated. Let me check. Yes, he is 3rd all time. Yes.
Louis it's not even. Yeah. Okay.
He is 3rd all time. So let's redo this. Give you the deal here. My list is not updated. So still, yeah, give me a couple fucking dudes here. I think I know the top 2.
Fitzgerald. I said Carson. I said Carson Palmer, and I was going to say Kurt Warner.
I believe that to be correct. Yes.
Okay.
Let me do that. Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Should be good. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, yeah, if he plays one more year, he'll be number 2 all time. So, top 5 are gone. Charlie.
I will go with Reggie Wayne.
He is 10th.
I will guess the 2 guys that threw him the ball the most were Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck.
That is correct. I do not know if he had a pass from anybody else. I think those were the only 2 for the most part. Drew?
It's my turn again?
Yes.
Jeez. How about Chris Carter?
He is 13th.
Chris Carter?
He's number 13. Yes. He is, you get a point for that. Yeah. 2 guys threw him the most yards.
I can't imagine it's any Hall of Fame quarterback.
Played with a lot of them. because he played with the Vikings.
Okay. I guess Dante Culpepper would be my first guess. No, not Dante Culpepper.
He is third, maybe fourth on this list. One more guess, 4 points.
It's got to be pre-Culpepper then.
Never heard of pre-Culpepper.
It's not. Would it be? No. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. It wouldn't be Dante Cunningham.
Who in the who?
Pretty sure that guy played basketball.
Dante Cunningham? Who the Randall Cunningham?
Yeah, Randall Cunningham.
Okay. Is that your guess?
Yes, it is. Randall Cunningham.
Yes. He is number two because he played with the Vikings and the Eagles.
Shit.
Number one.
I
No,
mean,
well,
I can't think of another. Maybe like Warren Moon.
Warren Moon is number one. Yes.
No kidding. Holy shit.
Warren Moon.
How many years did Moon play for the Vikings?
3?
That's more than I remember.
What, 94, 95, 90, parts of 96? 2.5?
Okay. All right.
There we go.
Okay.
Stacking
Well,
to keep pace with the
I
Sioux
got
Cities.
Marvin Harrison.
Okay. He
Got
is.
Peyton Manning.
He's 9th. Yep.
So Peyton Manning.
Marvin Harrison is 9th all time.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning threw him lots of yards. Who's the other guy?
This is the difficult one.
Is there another guy? Maybe he was a receiver. Maybe it was Jim Sorgi. Some backup guy.
I know that's obviously
It's a possibility.
for me. The only other name that I possibly could think of was Jeff George. So I will just throw that out there.
Any takers on who's number 2?
I would be here all night.
Joseph Adai.
Jim Harbaugh.
Ah.
Hey, so pre-Manning.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes.
Charlie has 9. Nathan has 8. Amon has 7. There it is. Charlie? 2 or 3 more rounds, we'll see.
How about Anquan Bolden?
This is tough because, yes, he is 14th all time. Let's.
God, I don't know who.
I guess, yeah, these two guys would work. Anquan Bolden for 10 points. Yep.
I remember who he played for at the end of his career. I don't even remember where he played like the first 6 years of his career, though, right now.
Let's.
Which is probably important because there's probably some quarterback who threw them the ball a lot.
Let's see. This is going to be tough. 3,000 yards with this team. Oh,
I don't
fuck.
know. Let's say Joe Flacco and Colin Kaepernick. I literally don't remember where he played before like 2010.
This is tough. Let's see. Well, here's the deal. One of them will be right, yes. Flacco or Kaepernick, one of them is number 2. Number 1
I'll
is.
take it.
Can't get a numbers crunch on that.
Kurt Warner is number 1.
Oh, that's right. He played for the Arizona Cardinals.
There we
Now
go.
it all makes more sense, and now I remember stuff more.
He was with the Cardinals forever, and then he went to Baltimore and so on and so on. Amon?
All of the touchdowns tonight were touchdowns.
Yes. We
None
Stacking.
of them were like, they were all touchdowns.
Stacking's a bit with the first one. Clement, I'm glad they were all touchdowns. I'm very
I just
happy.
want consistency. If you're
That
not
would
going
be
to call
nice.
it a touchdown in the regular season, it shouldn't be called a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
I think all of them would have been touchdowns regular season Super Bowl. Like, some of them were close, no doubt, but I think they're all touchdowns.
The Kelvin Benjamin catch against the Patriots in the Bills-Patriots game in New England in like Week 14, that was more of a touchdown than that Chris Clement catch.
Like there were other because I was worried and everybody else was worried that was going to be a non-touchdown, which is bad.
Yeah, I was worried too, but that would have been stupid if they overturned that. Anyway,
Right.
I'll go Tony Gonzalez.
Someone who were you the one that hates Tony Gonzalez?
I don't really like him that much.
Is that what you said?
I do think Gronkowski's the best tight end ever.
Yeah,
and there's something about Tony Gonzalez I don't really like that much.
That he dunked whenever he scored a touchdown, and that a goalpost isn't the same.
It's not even like a football player thing. There's something about him. I don't know.
As a man to man, you say fuck you.
Yeah, I mean I'm not calling. Yeah, man to man.
Fuck you, Tony.
Well, it's like ever since Darren Sharper, don't we sort of have to have our eyes peeled for these supposed good guys?
One of those guys.
No,
One of those guys.
I'm not saying anything. Anyway, Tony Gonzalez, I'm pretty sure has the most receiving yards of any tight end. So
Yes.
he's gotta be up there.
Two guys on this list for him.
I'll say his the top quarterbacks for him are Trent Green of the Chiefs.
That'd be great.
Man,
Number one.
it can't be another Chiefs. It's gotta be. I'll say Matt Ryan.
That's number two. Yes, Matt Ryan. Trent Green. Also notables: Elvis Gerbach,
Baby.
Damon Heward.
Yes.
Fuckers like that. Stacking.
Fuckers.
Charlie's got 11. Drew's got 10. You've got 8.
Yeah,
Two to tie. 3 to tie Charlie here.
I feel like I'm going to strike out on this one here. I'm going to go Michael Irvin.
I don't think so, son. I don't think so.
Yep.
Irvin, 27th all time.
Oh, fuck. If he hadn't gotten hurt on the turf in Philly, he would have gotten those extra.
If you were to guess, what would you say?
For him, Troy Aikman.
Yes.
And
Steve Berline.
well, I would have said Quincy Carter.
There we go.
Jeez.
Charlie?
I would have said Troy Aikman's brother, Roy Aikman.
We'll go 2 more times. Two more times around.
I don't know if this guy's in the top 15.
Or until we get some answers here.
He used to. I'll guess Steve Largent.
He is now 18th.
Burn.
He was up there. Drew?
It's funny. Like, there's not a lot of fucking wide receivers in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Like, it's a third. There needs to be a lot more players in general in the NFL Hall of Fame. Like, it's obscene to me how few players there are. And one of them that
Terrell Davis is one of them.
What?
Terrell Davis is in there.
Terrell Davis is in the Hall?
I don't think he should be, since he played like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, I need
But
more
he is
than
in,
that.
right?
He is in. He got last year he got in.
I mean, didn't he had like a 2,000-yard rushing
Yeah,
season,
I need
right?
2 Super Bowls. He played like the equivalent of 5 years. So it's like, yeah.
Well,
I need
Of
more.
course, he has that Super Bowl MVP where he like played despite migraines or whatever,
Sure.
which is like would not happen now.
No.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the like borderline guys that I can think of is Tim Brown.
Is that your guess or for Hall of Fame?
That's my guess.
Okay.
He's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't think.
I think he is, isn't he? I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he is.
Oh, he is. Okay. All right. Well, good for.
But
Tim.
Urlacher got it like
He
Zach
was-
Thomas. Zach Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame.
The Dolphins linebacker.
Yeah, they compared his numbers to Urlacher. It's the same across the board. The only thing different is Urlacher has like 40 sacks. Zach Thomas has 20. But besides that, everything is the same. Tackles and all pros and Pro Bowl shit and all that. So there we go.
He just played with Jason Taylor.
There are still two Buccaneers defensive players away that need to be in the Hall of Fame. That's John Lynch and Rondé Barber. But anyway,
Derek Brooks is he in?
Yeah,
And
Brooks
Warren
is
Sapp.
in. I'm pretty
Warren
sure.
Sapp is in. Yeah.
Okay,
You
was
got
Tim Brown an answer or not?
Yes, it was.
It's an answer. Tim Brown's my answer. I didn't think he was in the Hall of Fame, but he is.
Seventh all time in the yard. Seventh all time.
Okay, I have no idea who his quarterbacks are. I would say Rich Gannon.
Yep. Be number one.
I have no idea who was Raiders quarterback in the late 80s, early 90s. I'll say Carson Wentz.
Jeff Hostetler.
No kidding.
Number two.
Jay.
Amon takes the lead with 12. Charlie has 11. Stack, and you're still kicking with 8. You need some points. You need some
The
points
other
here.
guy I was gonna guess outside of Michael Irvin, and I don't know if he's up there or not, but I was gonna say Jimmy Smith.
20 seconds.
All of those Jaguars receivers.
Would have been Brunell and Leftwich. Charlie, we may go one or two more. Let's see. We have top 7 are out. We have number 8, 9, 11, 12, and 15. 5 left. 1 nobody will get. Another one nobody will likely get. There are 3 on this list. 1, 2 on this list left, I guess. So 1. This is the 1, maybe 2. Charlie.
I'm at the point now where do I want to guess a guy who retired 25 years ago-ish, and the game's changed, and there's more passing yards now? Or do I want to guess someone from recently when all the easy ones have been taken already? So I will go with
There are
Art Monk.
there are basically 4 guys left. 2 of them are hard. 2 are easy. Art Monk is
Was the hard one, and I got it. No,
20th all time. 20th.
them's the breaks.
Drew.
I feel like even Art Monk should be in the Hall of Fame, but like,
I think he is, isn't he?
no, I think Monk's not.
Let's see. Tim Brown, what do we got here? Tim Brown is, Art Monk is as well, yes.
Never mind, Jesus. Well, good that they are.
If Art Monk is, that's like within the last 2 or 3 years then.
I mean, if you play in the NFL and you get 14,000 receiving yards, like, Jesus Christ.
He made the Hall of Fame in 2008.
Okay, good. I'm gonna say Andre Johnson.
That's one of them. Andre Johnson is
quarterbacks
11th all time.
with Houston Texans quarterbacks.
So there are 2 guys on this list. Yeah. Are you're the Tony Romo of the trivia with the noises.
It's so.
Did he get in there, Jim?
I have no idea who the quarterbacks are. I know there was the guy. His first name was Matt. He threw a bunch of pick sixes, and then he was gone forever. I don't remember his last name.
Oh, some guy named Matt.
The other one's like, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
There's like David Carr, but David Carr didn't do anything but get sacked. I'll say David Carr for one of them.
Yep.
And then the other guy, Matt.
Need a last name.
Other man.
Need a last name.
Matt, the other man.
His name stacking?
Matt Schaub.
Matt Schaub.
You're talking about Andre Johnson, aren't you?
Yes, he is.
Of course, I did not know Matt Schaub. I couldn't think of the last name.
There's one guy left out here. I'll give everybody one more chance. Charlie needs this last guy and to get the 2 to tie. Stacking.
What did Charlie guess?
Charlie guessed Art Monk, who's not on this list.
Who's not on the list?
There are 2 guys that are very difficult, and one guy who is, you know who this man is?
How about Megatron?
No.
The fuck?
That's surprising. That is really surprising.
He is 29th. Sure? He is 29th all time because he decided to retire when he was like 29 years old.
Okay. Yeah,
that's true. Man, but still I would have thought top 15.
One more time around. Charlie, this is it. You need this and the 2 guys. Let's see who these 2 guys are. I hope.
How about Derek Mason?
Not on my list.
Son of a beefsteak.
26th all time, though. 26th.
Really pooed my pants late on this one. Ran out of guys.
Steve McNair and Joe Flacco would have been the 2 for him. Amon, one more guess?
Jesus. Did we get all the top 10, though?
Yeah, there's one guy left. He is, he is 8th all time.
Got him.
Ooh,
I know
shot called. Shot called. 8th all time in yards.
Really impressive that we would end up getting like most of the top 10.
12 of the 15. You got everybody that you should have except one guy, and it's if you're gonna forget a guy, it's probably him. You already won the deal, so.
I'm assuming it's Nate Burleson, right?
Burleson.
It's like Pierre Garcon or something.
Keenan McCardell.
Yeah, that's the other Jaguars.
Look at that. Give me the Burleson jersey there.
Bart.
And I'll give you a hint who it's not.
Farting.
Peter Warwick.
Yeah, it's not Peter Warwick. Thank you for that. That's actually helpful. There's got to be another. There's got to be another tight end in here. I will say Andre Reed.
No, fuck. God damn it.
Andre Reed, not a tight end, but also not in my top 15. So.
Oh, thank God.
He was at one point. He is 17th.
Yeah.
He's been.
Stacking, you were really riding the lightning here with your.
I was. I thought it was Andre Reed for sure.
You can tie.
I say Gronkowski, but
You can tie Charlie with a sweep here. One guy. He was a good. He was a good little receiver. Good little guy. This guy.
A couple. Yeah.
He was good. He wasn't good until he was 26. And he was pretty good even when he was 35. He was still good.
No, I think I might know who this is. I thought about guessing this guy, and then I was like, oh, it's probably not him. But as you know, with all my other guesses late, I should have guessed anybody else because all my guesses were wrong.
7, 8.
I'll say Lynn Swan.
I think Charlie knows this one. Charlie?
Is it Wes Welker?
Steve Smith.
Oh, That makes more sense.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad that I forgot about Steve Smith because he was really good for a long time.
Steve Smith was pretty good. Jake Delhomme, and who would be number 2?
Cam Newton.
No kidding. Cam Newton.
Yep, Cam Newton.
Steve Smith.
He probably only completed a pass to him every 50% of the time, so whatever.
Steve Smith, the only 5'8" guy that wanted to fight everyone in the history of the NFL at all times.
This fucker still wants to fight people.
And maybe could have done it, and they've been more successful than most people.
He wants to fight Michael Irvin.
He was an
I
hungry
wanted to say
little bitch.
I wanted to say Irving Fryer, but I didn't. Was that another one? Was that close?
On this list
Is
from
this game over?
yes, you get 14, Charlie gets 11, Nathan gets 8. On this original list, Irving Fryer was 15th, but he's been knocked down to 19th.
Okay.
Dan Marino would have been the guy. Let's see, Steve Smith. The tough guy, James Lofton. That was difficult.
I've heard of his name. I would not have guessed James Lofton ever, though.
Lynn Dickey would have been the quarterback. Also, Jim Kelly would have been the quarterback. Other guy, Henry Ellard, for fuck's sakes. Henry Ellard. Jim Everett and Gus Farrat. For this guy.
No real winners there.
This guy that appeared to play for 15 fucking years, played for the Rams, also played for Washington apparently, and I guess he is a guy. So Henry Ellard, 15th most yards ever for anybody.
Never forget.
That's played goddamn football. So here we go. Stacking, anything from you? Super Bowl was a good little fucking game.
It was. But we covered it, I think.
You like your college basketball coming? It's coming.
Oh, yeah. What a great day Saturday was. Still have no idea who the hell any good teams are. Can I trust Virginia? Can I trust Duke? Can I trust Villanova? I mean, I don't want to ride all on Xavier, but I almost feel like I have to.
Yeah?
So, yeah. And Mike Dom continues to dominate. Over 2,000 points. He's going to smash Nate Wolter's record. Probably not this year. And I'm leaning towards he won't transfer to a
USC?
school under like a Power 5 conference, but you always have to wonder that. I do believe he'll come back, though, next year.
Yeah, there's not much. Is there a lot? I mean, I'm guessing there's not a lot of precedent for like a third-year player, a very successful
Great
third-year player, like going to a big. That'd be really interesting to look into, but I'm not sure.
Not like Dom.
Because he redshirted his first year, so he should graduate this year, so he can transfer next year. Yeah, I don't.
I just don't. I doubt that happens a lot. I'm guessing that's really unusual.
I don't think so.
Anyway.
I think he'd be far more likely to leave and go to the NBA than he would be to transfer to another school somewhere else.
I think so.
I kind of think that too.
Charlie, anything from you?
I don't think so. Time
Malone.
to pay more attention to college basketball.
There we go, folks.
It's a dumb thing to point out for but the Patriots have given us 7 amazing Super Bowls over the course of 15 years. So
this was their biggest loss.
Has to be good. Just because it's a Super Bowl does not mean that it has to be a good game.
Yeah.
And but they
when we were kids, they were almost all terrible for 8 years in a row or something like that.
Exactly. Throughout the 80s as well, shitty Super Bowls. That really we're really kind of used to all these games going down to the last possession. And there's going to be a time where Belichick's not coaching these games, and things are probably going to be kind of fucked up. So.
With those 80s, I mean, you'll like San Francisco killing folks. The Bears had a good year. The Giants won a couple. The AFC didn't win a Super Bowl for 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
And
What do you remember about the Ravens 49ers game? You don't remember?
The lights went out.
The lights fucking went out.
I remember
And
San
then
Francisco.
we got that series comeback.
Or yeah, I remember Baltimore was up a lot.
I remember that San Francisco lost because on fourth down they threw a fade into the end zone. That was
Yeah.
incomplete.
I don't even remember that.
I remember they had a chance late. They were like inside the 10 or whatever. They got pretty close, so it was a good finish. But you look at like the AFC in the 80s. Like that's how Elway got to 4 Super Bowls. I mean, it was the Browns. The Browns should have probably got to a Super Bowl. The Bengals got to 2 Super Bowls. There was no AFC team in the 80s worth of shit. Meanwhile, on the NFC side, you had San Francisco. The Bears were pretty good for a few years. You had the Giants, mid to late 80s. You had like 3 really good teams in there, while the AFC didn't have any. So like your Super Bowls, like the 2 best teams never played in the Super Bowl. They usually probably played, on the NFC side. So
A pretty underrated thing is, I think it was Jacksonville who beat the Broncos.
96, yes.
And then the Patriots. That was a pretty big upset. Like Denver, probably the best team in the AFC here.
Yeah.
That's one instance of that, but that's just something I remembered earlier this week.
I believe it was the year after Rodgers beat the Steelers. And the next year they were like 15-1, 14-2, and the Giants beat the Packers. Like the Packers were the team. I believe the Giants.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Giants beat them.
Giants,
yeah.
Like the Packers. Yeah, the Packers were. It was like below 0 in Lambeau that night. Yeah, I remember that game quite a bit actually. That's another really good example.
Like the year the Packers are the 6th seed, they win the Super Bowl. The next year when they're like 14-2 or 15-1, they lose to the Giants in the first game. So.
Yep.
Doesn't always work out. So there we go. Lounge, it's been a long one. It's been a good one. 240 for Sleepy Traxler, for Stacking and his kid. Hopefully he's sleeping.
He is.
Terrific. Eamon makes his appearance.
I'll be sleeping too.
Very good.
You know, when I started this podcast, or not podcast, but this like the show or whatever, it was never mind. I had some. I was gonna say I started the show when I was 28, and I ended when I'm 29.
When's your birthday?
But,
tomorrow?
It's at midnight Mountain.
Well, it's your birthday here, so.
It's my birthday in South Dakota. That's all that matters.
Happy South Dakota birthday.
Thank you.
The Chislick is on the way. And for Charlie Hildebrand, we'll see you maybe next week. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll definitely see there he is at the Summit League tournament. It's been a good one. We'll see you later, Stacking.